last but not least, one thought that was on my mind um, is having hiked for the past 30 years, all the places that I've hiked, um, everywhere from the White Mountains and the Adirondacks to the Cleveland Mountains and Yellowstone over the years. And that was quite an accomplishment. A year and a half ago, I walked out of the mountains, a very accomplished hiker. Okay. I've hiked in every national park in the country. And I head back into the woods, um, trying to accomplish something new, something different. Um, Hiking 12 miles is nothing for most people. Um, I know a lot of people that have hiked 500 miles in Sweden and Norway, and I know a lot of people that have hiked more than 2,000 miles on the AT, the John Muir, etc. Um, but this is, a different animal for someone um, with multiple sclerosis. And so for me, like I said, I came out of the mountains an accomplished hiker. And I head back into the mountains hoping to accomplish something new. So wish me luck. Hey guys, just sitting here and picking the nose hairs out of my nostrils. And many of you have been to Recovery Road. And for me, that starts with continuing to do my best to pursue the things that I love to do. And so with these temperatures outside today and the next couple of days being just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's not even, I think it's 75 right now, and we got a really nice break for the heat. I've got my hopes up that I can go camping on the AT for a couple of days. So before I get my stuff packed up, a little hiker tradition is showing a little bit of amateur show and tell. And I haven't done one of these videos in a long time, probably since January or last year. The last big long hike I went on was August of 2017. And then soon after I became very ill. Multiple sclerosis hit me really hard. But I'm exhausted at the moment, but I'll persevere. I'm not tired all the time, but in any event, without further ado, I just wanted to go over just a couple of things I'm taking with me on my planned hike. I haven't heard back from my ride yet, the professor. So, and frankly, with the wanderer and nomad that he is, he might not even be in the state. But I've got my hopes up, and I'm hoping to get out of here for a couple of days and head out to the Appalachians and go hiking and going camping. And it's not going to be a really big hike. It's not going to be anything huge or long or monumental, but I'm hoping to see something pretty and do some sketching, do some writing, and sharing some really, really amazing views with you guys and sharing some nature with you guys. This is an absolute must-have. This was a gift from my buddy the professor, and this is an REI. This is an REI camp pillow. And for years I would just basically roll up a jacket or a shirt or whatever and just sleep on that. But I'll tell you what, this is a self-inflating camp pillow. And this is one of the things that absolutely makes or breaks your hiking trip, your backpacking trip, is having a decent little camp pillow. This thing weighs it weighs like a piece of paper. This weighs nothing. Most of this stuff absolutely weighs nothing. And on that note, that is probably, that's one thing I wanted to share with you guys. In my opinion, and my opinions are always my opinions. My opinions never reflect the opinions of my patrons or my subscribers or anything. And but I think, in my opinion, the number one thing that can ruin any hiking or backpacking trip is probably the weight of your pack. And I've had some miserable weeks before over the past 20, 30 years where I just overpacked. And like I said, I'm going out for a couple of days, so I'm barely taking anything. I think the most important things that I'm taking for me are my camera and my sketch pad. And so pack light if at all possible. If you ever find yourself saying, oh, I'll take this just in case, you probably don't need it. Really take the essentials. My camp pillow, my REI camp pillow, and just another little tidbit is I have this hammock, okay? And one of the reasons that I've started opting for a hammock as opposed to a tent is my tent weighs like 10 pounds, okay? And it's kind of a pain in the ass, and it's served me well, okay? And there's been times where I'm just in the middle of nowhere and I just want to set up a tent. It's raining, the weather's shitty. I can, I've had to hunker down in my tent for a couple of days before. There was just no way to, leave camp without just getting totally shitty, muddy, rained on, et cetera, et cetera. But the thing is that extra weight has really just put a damper on things, even more than weather has in the past. So I'm opting for a hammock these days, and this thing weighs nothing. I mean, it doesn't even weigh a pound. And as opposed to my Kelty tent, I've had it for years, but just the weight difference is a real bummer. Where I now have this hammock that I can set up, and I'm totally good sleeping in a hammock. I sleep like a baby in a hammock. I like sleeping in a hammock. I go all Gilligan, and I have a tarp to go on top of my hammock. So I can set up a tarp like a tent over my hammock, and for a ground cover, if it's not broke, it doesn't need to be fixed. So I have my Civil War ground cloth, my gum blanket here, made by Goodyear. This is a reproduction from 1862, and it's rubberized on one side, it's got grommets, and it's canvas on the other. And I'll throw one of these down on the ground underneath my hammock if I want to chill out during the day if I get caught in a storm. But we're not supposed to have any rain for the next 2-3 days, so I should be good. But in any event, I usually take that with me. For my bedding, what all of my junk is on is a Civil War wool blanket. And given the fact that it's not even going to be above 80 degrees for the next couple of days, that's all I'm going to need. So I'm taking one wool blanket, and I'm going to roll it up in my Goodyear 1862 gum blanket and just put that under my backpack. I mean, that's all I'm going to need. My gum blanket, my Civil War wool blanket, and I'm just opting for one of my Thermarests. I've got 3 of these. This is super light. I've got a self-inflatable that I've had for years, but the weight difference, it's probably a pound. And I mean, this weighs less than a t-shirt. So I'll take this and my gum blanket, my wool blanket. That's all I'm going to need. Okay, so I'm not taking a sleeping bag. I'm not taking a tent. I'm not taking an emergency blanket. I'm taking a super light tarp. This weighs like a piece of paper. My hammock my shoes weigh more than this hammock. Okay. I've got some straps to strap up my wool blanket and my gum blanket underneath my backpack. I got my North Face ready to go. I've got my walking sticks, and this super cool walking stick is what I use to make a lot of my videos, where I can attach my GoPro to it. And this thing was like $6. Okay, cork handle, $6 walking stick. This anti-shock walking stick I use to walk a lot these days, given the difficulty that I'm having with my right leg. And this is an anti-shock walking stick that was a gift from my very dear and lovely friend Lori Erickson from back home in Illinois. And it goes with my snowshoes. And thanks again, Lori. And I've known Lori my whole life. And this backpack that I've had for years will serve me well on this trip. One thing that I've started taking with me on my backpacking trips a couple of years ago are my Tevas. And a lot of you guys know that I used to live in Boulder, Colorado. And so headquarters of Teva's really big in Boulder. Kelty's headquarters is in Boulder. But after a day of having my Merrells, and I'm taking these Merrells because these Merrells are a lot lighter than my other Merrells. I have some Merrell trail runners and I have some heavier Merrell boots, but these are super light. These were about $100, and these were also a birthday gift from a good friend of mine. But I'm wearing these because they breathe, they're super light, they're still in really good shape. But at the end of the day, when I take those off, if I want to huff around camp, I'm going to want my Tevas on. It's nice to have my Tevas on and in my bare feet after I've been hiking all day. My first day, I think I'm only doing maybe 3 miles to the shelter that I'm going to. And I'm going to one of my favorite shelters, Birch Run, near Pine Grove Furnace. And it's a great shelter. It's like the Ritz. It's got an outhouse. It's got a nice fire ring. It's got bear poles, so I don't have to worry about putting my bear bag up in a tree. But I really need to get out of here. I need to get some nature. I'm missing being out in the woods. And I mean, I go for my walks in the battlefield, that's one thing, but being up in the oldest mountains in the world, the most ancient mountains in the world, the Appalachians were 10 times the size of Everest when this world was in its infancy. They are the most ancient mountains in the world, and I miss being up there. I think that is about it. I've got a really light poncho that I'll put in that stuff sack, and this is also my backpack cover to throw over my backpack, which has come in really handy over the years. I've been caught in storms, and I'm sure a lot of you have. To a lot of my friends, this stuff's old hat. A lot of my friends, you guys are outdoorsmen. You guys are, lifetime hikers, lifetime backpackers. This is old hat to you guys. But for a lot of you guys who aren't, avid hikers or backpackers or anything, if you ever have a question and I can help, please ask. One of the things that I'm not taking is Bob's Big Boy. So I won't be taking any firearms, but that is a topic that I am planning on touching on during one of my trips. That I will share some very personal experiences with you guys regarding bears and firearms out west in Yellowstone, Rocky Mountain National Park. Some of the very scary experiences that I've witnessed and that have occurred on days where I was up in the Rockies. But there was, I do want to touch on that subject about firearms on the trail and my own personal opinion, whether you agree or disagree. But in any event, water sources, and my shack is a mess, forgive me. Water sources, I'm probably just taking a couple of water bottles with me, and that's it. We've had a lot of rain, so I know where I'm going, there's a natural spring about the size of a bathtub. And I mean, I can dunk my head in it, I can get cleaned out in it, I can, use it for water. So I know where I'm going. The trail where I'm planning on going, I know really well. I've hiked there many times. And so I know with all of this rain, that spring is full in high summer. So I know that spring's going to be full. My destination, day 2 will probably be more than 6 miles, and that's where I'm headed. And yeah, my monitor's big. I told you I'm blind, but that's actually, I have a monitor that big for photography so I can see the pixelization on my photos. But in any event, guys, if you're watching my goofy, frugal backpacking video, thanks for checking out my junk. And I think that's it for show and tell. And so now I'm just waiting for a call back from my ride. which shouldn't be an issue. I've really got my hopes up. I really want to get out of here. I have cabin fever most days, and I'm really itching to just get out and hang out in the Appalachians, and they're just 10 miles away, right out yonder. But I hope you guys had a good day. And as Deepak Chopra once said, commune with nature at least 1 hour every day. It's good for the soul. It's good for your spirit. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. And I'll try to touch base from the trail. If I know I'll be getting out there sometime in the next 48 hours. I really want to take advantage of these temperatures and this cool weather, because it's going to be sizzling for the rest of the summer. It's going to suck. So this is a welcome gift, having these really nice cool temperatures. And there's my ride. So I have my ride. And the weather's looking pretty good for the next couple of days. It's going to be 84, maybe tops. And so let's see how this panned out. All packed up and ready to roll. And this is a welcome encumberment. Rock and roll. And this weight is nice. This is really nice. This is so nice. So yeah, this will work. So I've got my ride. I'm packed up and ready to roll. I'm totally exhausted, and I could head out tonight. It's going to be dark in about 2.5 hours. By the time I get there, it'll be dark. So I'll leave in the morning. And hopefully burn off a half a pound. But I am headed to Pine Grove Furnace. I am headed to Pine Grove Furnace, which is the location of the Appalachian Trail Museum. It's one of the bonuses of living here in Gettysburg. One of the reasons that I stayed in Pennsylvania all these years was that it has a lot to offer. So 10 miles away is Pine Grove Furnace, and that's where the Appalachian Trail Museum is. And so I'll start there in Pine Grove Furnace and work my way down south towards Tom's Run, and that is also the location of the official, unofficial halfway point of the Appalachian Trail. So living here is considered the halfway point of the over 2,000 miles of the Appalachian Trail, from Katahdin all the way down to Springer Mountain. And this is the halfway point. So I'll be cruising past there, staying at Tom's Run Shelter, Birch Run Shelter, and then I'm going to make my way south and hit a trail that I've never done before, that I've really wanted to do, that my health has prohibited me from doing the past couple of years, and that is to head off to the east on a side trail called Rocky Knob. And Rocky Knob is a small mountaintop. It's pretty. I don't know. Hope you guys can see this. But I'll be camping up there and headed down along the reservoir my last day. And my buddy, the professor, will be dropping me off and picking me up. So it's going to be a good time. One of the things that I'm looking forward to up on top of Rocky Knob is there are some ecological, natural waypoints that are set up by the Park Service so people can see insects and animals in their natural habitat. So that should be really cool. But I think all in all, this hike is less than 12 miles. I mean, it's pretty easy. My first day, I think I'm hiking like 5-6 miles my first day, maybe 5-6 miles the next day. And my pack is really, really light, which is really good, because if that thing was heavy, it really put me off. But like I said, I'm only packing for a couple of days, so I'm not packing for. We usually pack for 7 to 10 days. When me and the professor go out, we usually go out for like a week or two, and that's when I'm packing like 2 weeks of food, and a lot more stove fuel and stuff like that. And like I said, for my friends like Bob and Roy and you guys, this stuff's old hat. But for you guys, any of you guys who don't get out that much, if you'd ever like to come along with me, I'd love to have you along. If you're somebody who is frugal like I am and you are without gear, I probably have enough gear, sleeping bags, backpacks for 3 people. I've been collecting stuff for 30 years. In any event, I think that's about it. So for the 3 of you that watch my videos, thank you. For all of my patrons, all of you, you know who you are, each and every one of you, thanks so much for keeping me fed and, again, helping me try to achieve my goal of getting the medical care that I need. Until then, I'm going to try to take care of myself. And what I mean is, my best remedy is to, for me personally, most people when they're ill, they rest. Me, I try to push myself. If you don't use it, you lose it. Okay? And that's exactly what I did 12, 15 years ago when I was really sick, is I got out and I pushed myself and I overcame the hurdles that I was facing. And I'm hoping that what I'm doing this week, getting out into the mountains, not only benefits me, but I hope that even one person who sees the video and what I accomplish this week, I hope that it inspires you to get out and don't ever give up on the things that you're passionate about, regardless of the hurdles that you face. Never stop trying, never give up. Continue doing the best that you can do when you can do it. And with that, I think I'm ready to roll. And I'm going to chill out tonight, get some food, and I'll be shooting some video out on the trail. And I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you stay tuned. So I'll see you when I see you. And I'm looking forward to sharing what I experienced and some photos and thoughts upon my return. So have a good night.